Hello.
Hey,
How's it going?
I've been packing, getting ready to move to Texas. So
Oh, geez.
yeah,
Stress then.
yeah. But I was angry for a while,
Yeah.
also. But now I'm more like I guess into the acceptance phase.
Right. Yeah. Well, the stages of coping.
Fucking grief and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. It comes from like fucking feeling like life's going fucked up because of the world, but my personal life was fine.
Right.
In a sense. My wife, and me, really we're doing okay. And the house was painted. We spent like 2-3 months painting this fucking house, and now we got to fucking leave.
Yeah.
And also because we painted it our own colors, like fucking purple and orange and fucking red and blue and all these other black ceiling, black
Right.
doors. People come in and go, "Whoa!" Like, yeah, I know. It felt good to me.
Yeah, that's right. It's perfect for me.
Yeah, for me, as a creative person that needs to live like in a creative environment,
Yeah.
fucking awesome. And like I told you already, I had to sell my jacuzzi, which I used to go in like, I don't know, sometimes 2-3 times a day
Right. Right.
and go sit in
Yeah.
there and enjoy. And also I used to, smoke pot, but that's all gone because it's too
Right.
fucking expensive. And so yeah, my life is just and then having to move and everything. I just have to put all the boxes and just
It's a lot.
yeah. But anyways, so this also video is a lot
Okay.
because we're dealing with duality, and just so people know, I want to try to express every way that religion and duality interacts. It's just too fucking hard.
Right.
So we're going to get to as much as we can. Go read the blog and then understand, even in the blog, I didn't go like, crazy on all the ways that duality relates to religion. It's like
Right.
a lot.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's one things that, like most times we're dealing with, in a sense, particular deities. This is more like a main concept.
Okay.
That some people, like we're going to watch a little video and it says, he goes, it's an archetype he really focuses on deities. Oh God, it's not limited to that.
Right. It's just like all
mountains
kinds of stuff.
Mountains are dual, and even it relates to like day and night and good and bad and homosexual and straight and married and single, and it's just or even dual persons, people having dual genders and things.
It's pretty big concept.
Yeah, it's like, and also like death and rebirth. I'm trying to think about reincarnation and and destruction, and just like because flood myths relates to this, and gods and myths and creation myths, and yeah, there's
Wow.
it's fucking vast. So that's why I wanted to, and also we're going to address first. Before we get into all that, we're going to make it even more complicated because we're going to address anarchism and dualism, or actually non-dualism. That we see the dualism in society and we go, fuck that.
That doesn't have to be this way.
Right. So the AI overview that I gave you, and the reason why I did AI overview, because I like to get not my influence. That's also why I like Wikipedia sometimes, because I want to share ideas that I feel, but I want to validate that. Because like one time someone asked me, just to give an example, someone asked me, do I see stuff from the Americas coming back to Siberia? And I said, maybe with pre-existing myths that already came from Siberia. So I would say no.
Okay.
Or very little to almost nothing. No, and the influence, they brought over shamanism, they already had it. They brought over the bird beliefs, they already had it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I went and did Wikipedia. Wikipedia said 5,000 years ago, they believed some stuff came over. See?
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying I like it, because I do know 5,000 years ago, people did come over. I don't personally, but maybe I just didn't study where that happened. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's why I think the AI, for me, obviously it helped take my wife's job. So fuck AI.
Right.
But I think that goes back to, I've had arguments with anarchists because, or socialists, whatever, people that feel that I shouldn't use AI memes or whatever.
Okay.
Where to me, this is just another fucking tool. Yes, it's like the internet. Capitalism turned the internet into dog shit. But yeah, I found you, and I can get to, my fans or whatever and teach. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I feel like people get this all or nothing once again about dualism. That everything has to be just one thing. Where I see it is there's two different things going on. If things are used to better humanity, fuck, I'm all for it.
Right.
If things are used to hurt humanity, I'm fucking against it.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Against, then the bad use of it, right? Like not the thing
Right.
itself.
And he tried to say, oh, well, artists have made, it AI takes from artists making those memes. And I said, aren't a lot of memes themselves copies of movies, TV shows, art, whatever?
Yep.
I mean, so I feel like I said, what people can have any argument they want. To me, I just think it's not very valid. But we're gonna go on because I don't want to go into all that shit. But
yeah, I have lots of thoughts on that stuff, but it's we could go on.
Share your thoughts. Go ahead.
Well, I just think that, like, if you're gonna argue against like the illegitimate use of AI stealing art or whatnot, that's fair to a degree, but also I don't believe in intellectual property. So, so it's pretty tough for me to get fully on board with that.
Right. Like I said, my issue is different. How are you using it? If you're using it to fight capitalism, fucking, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I don't even have any issue.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, capitalists will use whatever tools they can to eliminate jobs and increase profits and hurt and hurt the rest of us. And it's not the tools that are the ones that are the problem all the time. It's the irresponsible use of them.
Right. So, anyways, that's cool. We have similar thinking. So go ahead and read where it says AI overview, anarchism and dualism. And then after it, I know I can't always send you stuff, but read the one about Marx too, because I had an argument with the Marxist, actually Marxist Leninist. But go ahead and read what it says about Marx, because I want to. Anyways, you understand. I don't even think I need to explain to you why.
All right. Yeah. So we've got the AI overview, anarchism and duality. Anarchists contend that dualistic us versus them thinking is a key component of hierarchical power structures. This applies not just to social classes, but to any division that creates a dominant and a subordinate group. The most obvious political dualism is the separation of society into those who command and those who obey. Anarchists argue that this dynamic is inherently corrupting for both parties, as it leads the rulers to exploit the ruled and creates social conflict. From an anarchist perspective, a non-dual worldview supports a deeper ethical framework by breaking down perceived separations between the self and the other. This can foster empathy, mutual aid, and a sense of collective well-being, which are central and anarchist values. The anarchist concept of dual power emphasizes creating autonomous, cooperative organizations such as mutual aid societies, worker councils, and cooperatives that can function independently of the state. This differs from the Leninist concept of dual power, which describes the state coexisting with a state in formation. Anarchist philosophy has a complex relationship with the concept of dualism. While anarchists reject dualistic thinking in areas like mind-body and individualism versus collectivism, some anarchist strategies rely on a form of organizational dualism to achieve their goals. The anarchist philosophical tradition views dichotomous thinking, such as freedom versus equality or the individual versus the collective, as a false choice. Instead, anarchism posits that true freedom is only possible through equality and that the individual can thrive through mutual aid and cooperation with the collective. A core tenet of anarchism is its opposition to hierarchies. Anarchists identify and reject the dualistic relationship of the ruler-ruled, authority-subject, and rich-poor as inherently unjust. The anarchist concept of goodness is typically built on a few core principles. Mutual aid, in contrast to the idea that humans are naturally selfish, thinkers like Peter Kropotkin argued that mutual aid and cooperation are fundamental factors in both animal and human evolution. Anarchist morality is rooted in this instinct of solidarity and voluntary cooperation. Voluntary association. A person's actions towards others should be voluntary and arise from a genuine understanding of their needs, not from coercion or an externally enforced moral code. A good person within this framework is one who operates on the basis of reciprocal help and consideration for others. anti-hierarchy and anti-authoritarianism. Anarchist ethics reject power-based hierarchies, arguing that both ruler and the ruled are corrupted by systems of authority. Goodness is therefore linked to resisting domination and upholding the liberty and dignity of every individual. And lastly, prefigurative politics. Anarchists practice prefigurative politics where the means used to achieve goals mirror the desired outcome. This means a good person acts ethically in their daily life and interpersonal relationships to foreshadow the values of a free society rather than waiting for a revolution to act justly.
Right, which I say a lot, right? I say that we need to act now, which is why I really feel like a mutualist, that I believe we should be building our system now. We shouldn't like wait for one day in the future, maybe when it happens, it could be 100 years from now, I'm dead. No, we should do it now. We should show it works now. We should build it right in the husk of this fucking dying fucking monster.
Yeah, that's right.
And then also, once again, I'm not like saying let's fix this monster. I'm saying we need to make something better now, and then hopefully we make even better where we remove this fucker totally.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't feel it. Once again, it's a dual purpose. I'm trying to do two things at the same time. I want to help people in the here and now, and I'm also trying to make a better world for the future.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a dual thing at the same time.
Yeah, we're not, like you say, we're not waiting around for the revolution. We're acting ethically. We're building, helping where we can. We're educating where we can in the hopes that more people will, also learn from this and do this and continue on what we're doing.
Exactly. And I told you anyways, I feel that there is no end point in anarchism. Anarchism is a way of being.
Yep, that's right.
And it's like a living and breathing thing that we do, always working towards the betterment. And like I told you, there's absolutely is probably things that I do that someone else could do better, in the future. And there's things that could be, both of us could be missing. That needs to be addressed in the future. I'm
undoubtedly.
I'm just making it. My point though is, so thinking that in the future perfect is going to happen by osmosis, I feel is just fucking ludicrous.
Yeah.
One person said to me, "Well, Damien, in the future, when statelessness happens, that's when classlessness happens." And I said, "See, I see it backwards. Classlessness now will end up with statelessness in the future."
Yeah.
If we don't do classlessness, how the fuck are we ever going to get to the fucking future?
Yeah, that's right.
I feel like it's backwards. It's all
yeah.
hell.
Yeah, I think that you're right there, because if you just eliminated the state without eliminating classlessness, then you just have unregulated hierarchy.
Right. Well, because it won't be I think, like I said, to me, it's the goal. My goal is anti-hierarchy. Theirs is somehow a revolution in the future.
Yeah.
What if your goal isn't anti-hierarchy? Then in the future you won't have that either.
Right.
Which then again, why I see we have a problem. Not saying all, but a lot of Marxist-Leninists seem to fucking worship the state and fucking worship dictators, or even if they think they're good people. I'm sorry, as an anarchist, I don't worship no one. I don't want you to worship fucking me.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, no. If you do, you're not understanding what I'm trying to teach.
Yeah, exactly. I don't defend any state, and I will criticize every state. And
every state.
I'll criticize, it's all fair game.
I will criticize every thinker who does something unethical.
Yeah.
Even if it's me. Someone who's in error, even if it's me. I've corrected and said I was wrong.
Right.
I feel like it's like they don't want to hear any fucking thing. Even like I said Marxist-Leninists have fucking literally oppressed and harmed anarchists throughout every single Marxist-Leninist project.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys started. I was like, see, they can't even listen to reality.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, okay, so let's go. Since we're talking on that, let's read what Marx thinks about Marxist-Leninism.
All right.
AI overview.
According to this AI overview, Karl Marx would likely have opposed Marxism-Leninism due to the significant differences in their views on historical development, the role of the state, the mechanism of revolution, and the ultimate goals of communism. Marx did not advocate for socialist transitional states as they are understood today, but he did describe a transitional phase after the overthrow of capitalism where the proletariat would seize control of the state to transform society towards communism. In this period, known as the dictatorship of the proletariat, the state would exist to suppress the bourgeoisie and manage the transition of the means of production to collective ownership, eventually leading to the abolition of the state altogether. Karl Marx's ideas share several fundamental similarities with anarchism, particularly in their ultimate vision of a stateless, classless society and their materialist critiques of capitalism. However, they diverge significantly on the tactical and strategic steps needed to achieve that goal. As Karl Marx died in 1883 and Vladimir Lenin rose to prominence in the 20th century, Marx never had the opportunity to comment on Marxist-Leninism directly. Based on the fundamental differences between the two ideologies, however, most historians and political theorists believe Marx would have strongly disapproved of Lenin's adaptations, especially the authoritarian and dictatorial aspects. Marxist-Leninism is a means to achieve a communist society, not the communist society itself. A key distinction lies in Marxist-Leninist states having an authoritarian, centralized government, while a true communist society would be stateless and classless. The number of Marxist-Leninist states has changed dramatically over time. The number peaked during the Cold War and decreased significantly after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. At present, 5 states self-identify as Marxist-Leninist, although their interpretation and application of the ideology vary widely. These countries are China, Cuba, Laos, North Korea, and Vietnam.
And since you are certainly more skilled in Marxist-Leninism and thinking and all that than I am, what is your opinion of what you read?
Oh no, I think I mean I think it's right. Essentially, like I think my view of Marx is that he would not have approved of the Marxist-Leninists or the USSR in particular. He might have been like many anarchists and Marxists at the time. They would have been on board with the revolution and they would have joined in, But then when things became centralized and immovable in a variety of ways, they would leave or they would become very critical of the USSR and other Marxist-Leninist states. And I think that Marx would be no different, right? Many Marxist-Leninists would be looking at Marx himself as a heretic in a variety of ways, the way that they adhere to the USSR's dictates. But
right, well, thank you for giving your thoughts on that. Yeah. So, anyways, the person who's a Marxist-Leninist said all that's wrong, and I was yeah, I don't agree with that. Just because you don't like something doesn't make it wrong. But that's what I'm saying too, is that a person who's really unwilling to listen and accept the truth and critique on things, I find that it's just like religion. It becomes like a dogmatic propaganda block. They just can't hear it. I can't hear it.
Yeah.
And I that's not a healthy way to be or learn or thrive to me. But anyways,
I agree.
So the next thing is the first picture I gave you. This is a picture that is about how at one time in the mythology there was one, in a sense, being, which was actually 2 beings, duality. Mm-hmm. The sky father, in a sense, and the earth mother, kind of like. And go ahead and read this.
So it says, not infrequently, the god of heaven, Sky Father, and the goddess of earth, Earth Mother, are fused into a hermaphroditic higher deity. According to legends,
intersex, because
right, yeah.
But I just used what actually they wrote.
Yeah. According to the legends, the heavens and earth were once inseparable until Enlil was born. Enlil cleaved them in 2. Customs and myths highlight dualistic dichotomies, for example, of heaven and earth, day and night, or man and woman, that need to be surmounted by a kind of bisexual spiritual force. Sumerian creation story evolution around 5,000 years ago has a very brief creation account with a proposed universe with only 2 elements: Ki, earth goddess, mount of creation, and An, sky god. copied from older myths of Anshar, sky pivot, and Kishar, earth pivot, the earlier personifications of the heavens and earth. The Proto-Indo-European concept of sky father and earth mother are similar to the oldest Sumerian deities of creation. In comparative mythology, such pairings are seen in many other religious myths the world over.
Right. And so the whole point, just trying to show you once again, duality can mean different things. So then click the next picture and then read what that says. The next picture is really about the mountains. I drew
this has got to be a pretty new one. I don't think I've seen this one before.
No, it's kind of old, but
is it? Okay.
And I think I showed it to you one time have we done? No, we haven't. Maybe we haven't done Sumerian mountains. So I don't know. We have talked about dual mountains before, or two mountains.
I just don't remember this picture in particular, maybe, but
it's fine.
Mount Mashu to the Sumerians. Mashu was a sacred mountain. Its name means twin in Akkadian, and thus was it portrayed on Babylonian cylinder seals, a twin-peaked mountain described by poets as both the seat of the gods and the underworld. References or allusions to Mount Mashu are found in 3 episodes of the Gilgamesh cycle, which date between the 3rd and 2nd millennia BCE. Gilgamesh and Enkidu gaze in awe at the mountain called the Mountain of Cedar or Pine Forest, the dwelling place of the gods and the throne of Ishtar, ruled over by a demonic monster named Humbaba. Gilgamesh climbs onto the mountain, sacrifices cereals to it, and in response, the mountain sends him puzzling dreams about his future.
Right. So just showing you that, once again, duality, because a lot of people, especially if you go look up duality, a lot of it just says it's Proto-Indo-European only, nowhere else, which is absolutely ridiculous. And not saying that all sources, but like Wikipedia, like the Devine twins, they call it.
Oh yeah.
So, but like I said, this concept is
it's bigger than that, eh?
Yeah. So now let's go watch the little video.
So basically what an archetype is it's a symbol or a concept or an idea or an image or basically a thing. Anything that you can think of, but this thing has to have 2 specific qualities to be an archetype. It must appear in multiple different cultures across multiple different time periods. So the archetypes that we're going to look at today appear in Chinese mythology, Roman mythology, Greek mythology, Native American mythology, Indian mythology, etc., etc., etc. And if it hasn't occurred to you already, the question that should be plaguing your mind is, how the heck can an idea like that occur across multiple different civilizations across a period of time? And that's the super cool thing about archetypes, is that's exactly
right. He's seeing it as an archetype, and he tries to talk about Jung also, saying it's a psychological thing. But from my classes, one of the reasons why religions are all over the world similar is because they spread in migrations. So it's a cultural product spread in cultural migrations.
It's not part of the collective unconscious.
There you go. No, it's not. Which I think he might even address, and I don't agree with that at all.
Right, yeah.
And what they do, and some of them are weirdly specific. Like, for example, the concept of a child born to a virgin. You might think that that's basically a Christian myth. Well, it also appears in Egyptian mythology, Native American mythology, Indian mythology. It appears all over the place. And some of these cross a couple of millennia. So how the heck did they know about these concepts? Well, that's the mystery of an archetype. This dude, Carl Jung, who is the guy who came up with the concept of archetypes, thought that it had to do with some kind of collective unconscious, or that we all shared some kind of deep part of our brain that not only did we not know that we have, but we also didn't know that we shared. It's a cool theory. Anyway, you need to know about archetypes for today's video, and I'll talk about why that is in a minute. One way of thinking about archetypes is that they're kind of like patterns, except that these patterns exist across long distances of space and time. So basically, we're going to look at the concept of duality in a bunch of different cultures over a long period of time. So we're going to start with creation myths, myths about how the world and our species began. But we're not going to...
I'm going to send you a picture real quick about the Earth divers turning into the mounds. And the reason why is because it shows it going back and forth. That's really what I think happened, not like even just one way, like the Graham Hancock thing, like one great people gave everybody everything. I'm like, that is not what happened. That's wrong. So not only is it wrong to think that's an archetype, or like we talked about the other day, someone saying it relates to people all being crazy and somehow coming up with similar crazy myths. No, that's not right either. Here, go ahead and do the picture. Show it. There you go. So the stuff doesn't start actually in Siberia, but I'm just showing you that to make it as easy as possible to understand. That 22,000 years ago, ideas that I think the Earth diver, because I think before this point, before 24,000 in Siberia, I don't think there was an Earth diver myth. In my opinion, I think it was invented in Lake Baikal, or because of Lake Baikal, I should say, not whatever, but that area. And then it goes to the Americas, and but it has no turtle. It has mountain kind of concept, no turtle. It goes down to the Middle East. Then the Middle East is the next picture. That's where it has turtle. It got turtle from Israel, and it takes it and puts it in India, puts it in China, puts it in Siberia. It also goes to Europe. I didn't show this because I'm trying to make it easier to understand. And goes to the Americas. But now Americas finally get turtle.
Okay.
And the next one is the Siberian people. They take them now, the mound thing, and they change it a little bit. Of course, once again, they get rid of the turtle, and it becomes Kurgans. Kurgans go back and go all the way down to Egypt, I believe, and to Samaria and all that, through that way that it's showing. And then again, ideas from, I believe, or related to Egypt go to Samaria, and then go to the north, where the Proto-Indo-European, like Ukraine. And then from there, it was taken back to Siberia. Now it's the new thing where it's more like pyramids, sort of. And then that ends up going to China and going to the Americas. It also goes to India. I didn't do, but my point is, so it's not a simple thing. It's not a one-way thing. It's not a one-time thing. It's not the same myth just kept. It's evolving and changing from where you get it. Anyways, we're done with that. Okay. I just wanted to we can go back to the video just so people grasp my thinking. This is how we ended up with the creation myths all over the place, kind of similar, but yet different.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it chronologically because that seems difficult, and I'd rather just do it the way I've written it down. So the first example we're going to look at is actually a poem. The reason why it's difficult for him
is because he hasn't done research like Damien.
Right. He doesn't have the full backup of all the migrations and all the DNA,
all the DNA movements and the idea and the archaeology stuff that they're making when they move, and then the languages, how they moved, and because it has been hard, Corey. It's even hard for Corey to have to learn it.
It's a lot of information that takes a lot of like basically learning. It's
lots of learning. But anyway, so I agree with him. It is hard, but I did the hard work so people don't have to.
Right.
Called Hesiod. And this poem is over 2,000 years old. It was written in the 7th or 8th century before Christ. And this poem is called Hesiod's Thenogony. And Hesiod's Thenogony actually describes the origins of the Greek gods themselves. So where did Zeus, for example, or the Titans who he fights against even come from? Check out this line from his poem. First of all, the void came into being, and out of the void came darkness and black night, and out of the night came light and day. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, that sounds kind of familiar. Of course it does! The reason it sounds familiar is because it sounds just like another creation myth, the Judeo-Christian creation myth. Now, I'm quoting the version from the Torah because it's theoretically older, I guess, depending on how you look at things. But you can also find this creation myth in any version of the Bible. Now, the Judeo-Christian origin story sounds very familiar to Hesiod's Thenogony. The Torah states, "Now the earth was astonishingly empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the water. And God said, 'Let there be light.' And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated between the light and between the darkness." Whoa. Look how many similarities there are between the two. Sweet, right? Remember what I said about archetypes? Across culture and across time. These two stories are separated by millennia and by thousands of kilometers. So Taoists believe in kind of this big chaotic thing. Everything was chaos, and there was kind of this cosmic egg. I don't know really how to picture that, but let's just go with it. And that inside this cosmic egg, yin and yang were vying to find balance, and that once they did, Pangu, the first human, was born. So once again, we see that there is an archetypal balancing and division of light and dark, just like in Hesiod's Theogony and in the Torah. Okay, let's move away from creation myths for a second, look at some other examples of myths from other countries. In Africa, there is an ancient tribe of people called the Yoruba. Now, the Yoruba have a myth about a god called Eshu. Now, Eshu is an African Orisha, and Orisha is basically a spirit manifestation of a god. The Yoruba myth about Eshu goes as follows. There was two good friends who were neighbors. Each of them worked as farmers in their respective fields. The Orisha Eshu comes walking along the line that divides their two fields. He's wearing a cap that is two different colors, one on each side. Each color is therefore only visible to one of the men. Later, the two men argue over the color of the cap. Eshu arrives and puts an end to the quarrel by showing both men his two-colored hat. Thus, each man is right, but not completely, and each man is wrong, but not completely. It's a matter of different, but not incorrect, perspectives of the same event and person. So here we have not a creation myth, but a very interesting myth that deals with the concept of duality. We have two neighbors and a hat with two colors. And in this we can see embedded deeply here the concept of right and wrong. One side of the hat or neighbor is not necessarily right or wrong, but we see that there's a duality of their perspectives. They're both right and they're also both wrong. Now, going back to Greek mythology, the Greeks didn't always demonstrate light and dark through two distinct individuals. Often they demonstrated the duality of light and dark in a single god. And this is starting to move into the direction that we really want to go to in our unit on duality. Let's look at the Greek myth of Persephone. And she is originally depicted as a young, beautiful child who is loved by her mother Demeter. Now, Demeter was the Greek goddess of harvest and grain and growth. One day, Persephone was in the fields with her mother and found a beautiful flower. She was so entranced by it that she did not hear the ground opening behind her. I don't really know how that's possible. And out of this fracture in the ground, Hades, king of the underworld, rose up with his horse and drawn chariot. He abducted Persephone and took her back to the underworld to be his queen. After this, Demeter realizes that her daughter is missing and goes on a search. As a result of this, Demeter is missing.
Don't you like how they make it? He abducted her. You mean he kidnapped and then did rape marriage?
Right.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Anyway, sorry. just saying how even like how people frame things, even in the myths, they make it sound nonchalant. It's horrific shit. I mean,
Yeah.
if that happened to you, you would not be like, oh yeah, I was abducted and then I became, a spouse. Like, what?
Yeah.
And the world experiences its first season of winter as the crops wither and die because Demeter is missing and in mourning. Now, Demeter doesn't find her daughter right away, and as a result, she ends up as the queen of the underworld. And if you remember, at the beginning of the story, she was a beautiful child with a very light-filled family and concept. But now, being queen of the underworld and the daughter of Hades, she has this dark sort of hell thing going on. Now, here is the interesting part. In Greek mythology, she occupies both spaces. She is both core and Persephone at the same time. She's the goddess of grain and harvest and growth. She is also the queen of the underworld, grim and terrifying at the side of her husband Hades. And whenever you look at Persephone in art, she is depicted as both things at the same time. There is a balance of both light and darkness within the same character. Now, Persephone/Core is not the only Greek god or goddess that has this individual duality going on. The Greeks love to represent their gods and goddesses as at once good and evil, light and dark, as both fast and famine. Now, these aren't the only myths that have to do with good and evil. There are plenty of Hindu myths that have to do with good and evil. There's Norse myths that have to do with the concept of duality.
Because, guys, we're focused particularly on duality. I just wanted to show you that it's way more involved in religion than people realize. It's all
Right.
the stuff I show is always more important than people realize.
Yeah. It's a lot more. Yeah.
Right. So let's go now to the link that I gave you for duality.
All right. So I've got duality in mythology, dual deities, divine couple, and divine twins beyond Proto-Indo-European.
Right. And then so it shows the picture. These are the two, in a sense, the dual deities, whatever, the divine twins is what they're supposed to be.
Right.
Anyways, this is an actual, like, I copied I think it's Roman or something. Anyways, doesn't matter. But so I think, though, it could relate to the next picture, which is duality and divine fins. It could be the phase of the moon and the sun, light and dark, and how it relates. And then also the things below it are burials of twins that they believe were sacrificed, which happened in shamanism because they believed in afterlife, so people didn't die. Killing them is actually not killing them. They're just transitioning to the other life.
Yeah, a sacrifice isn't a sacrifice if you have eternal life, right?
That's right, exactly. See, that's like why a lot of the Christians or whatever, don't see them, especially early ones, when they got killed or something. Not a big deal, because now they're going to go see heaven and go see God. Yeah, that actually, to me, cheapens life.
I agree. We also have in the modern age, we have a lot of like the end times kind of beliefs because of that exact thing. Like they believe that they're all going to go to heaven, so the end of the world doesn't matter.
Right. But you see, this is 34,000 years old. The first burials of twin in Russia, and then Austria is 27, and then Italy is 25, and then Italy 25, and then Italy 11, and then Alaska 11, and there's some more burials, but I'm just giving you like
a handful there.
Right. To give you the understanding that it's not, I'm not making this up.
Right. Yeah.
This is, the picture says, early European practice human sacrifice.
Oh, also. Yeah. So then we've got investigating a collection of graves from the Upper Paleolithic around 32 to 26,000 to 8,000 BCE. Archaeologists found several that contained pairs or even groups of people with rich burial offerings and decoration. Many of the remains were young or had deformities such as dwarfism. Human sacrifice may be a ritual practiced in a stable society and may even be conducive to enhancing societal unity.
Pause for a second. I don't like how they say it as it like they're believing the nonsense.
Right.
Killing your fucking children or sacrificing humans is nothing about that's a stable society.
No.
I hate how they fucking sometimes they say shit. It's like, the fuck?
It could maybe be put like it says like people believed that human sacrifice, or something like that.
Right, because it sounds like they're pro-human sacrifice.
Right. Which let's not be pro-human sacrifice.
Yeah, I think we can certainly feel comfortable not doing that.
Yeah. So they believe that it was may even be conducive to enhancing social unity, both by creating a bond unifying the sacrificing community. The comparative analysis of different Indo-European tales has led scholars to reconstruct an original Proto-Indo-European creation myth involving twin brothers, Manu, man, and Yimo, twin, as the progenitors of the world and mankind, and a hero named Trito, third, who ensured the continuity of the original sacrifice. To create the world, Manu sacrifices his brother, and with the help of heavenly deities, the Sky Father, the Storm God, and the Divine Twins, forges both the natural elements and human beings from his twins' remains. Some scholars have proposed that the primeval being Yimo was depicted as a two-folded hermaphrodite rather than a twin brother of Manu, both forming indeed a pair of complementary beings entwined together. The Germanic names Ymir and Tuisto were understood as twin, bisexual, or hermaphrodite, and some myths gave a sister to the Vedic Yama, also called Yami, or twin. The primordial being may therefore have self-sacrificed or have been divided into a male half and a female half, embodying a prototypal separation of the sexes that continued the primordial union of the Sky Father, Daius, with the Mother Earth, Dagon.
Right, which we've talked about a little bit about this stuff before, right? I mean,
yeah.
Corey's it's not the first time you heard this.
Yeah. I believe we talked about it when we talked about the Sky Father, Earth Mother stuff.
Right. So go ahead and keep going.
Sure. AI overview, human sacrifice, and duality mythology. Human sacrifice was often a core element of mythologies where duality was emphasized, particularly in Aztec culture, where the practice was seen as necessary to maintain cosmic balance and the cycle of creation. This reflected a dualistic worldview of opposing forces and cyclical time, with sacrifices serving to sustain the gods and the world itself. Human sacrifice appears in various mythologies, from the Middle East to Mesoamerica and Europe, often linked to appeasing deities, purifying land, or ensuring fertility, reflecting a powerful interplay between life and death, creation and destruction. Cosmic balance and duality. Aztec culture. The Aztec worldview was deeply dualistic, with a focus on cyclical time and the balance of opposing forces like life and death, light and darkness. Human sacrifice was central to this, as the God's power was believed to require blood, a divine life force, to sustain the cosmos. The act of sacrifice was not seen as purely negative, but as a divine act to renew the world and prevent chaos. Perpetual cycles. The concept of cosmic balance, a key aspect of dualistic thinking, connected to myths of creation and destruction. Sacrifices were intended to keep these cycles going and to ensure the continued existence of the world. Examples in mythology. Middle Eastern cults. Some ancient Middle Eastern cults, such as those worshipping the deity Moloch, practiced child sacrifice. Celtic traditions. The Celts practiced human sacrifice, sometimes burning victims in large wicker effigies. The Gauls, another Celtic group, believed that offering a human life for a human life could appease the gods. Greek and Norse myths. While less common, myths like the Greek tale of Lycaon show human sacrifice, where the king served his son to Zeus, leading to divine punishment and transformation into wolves. Some Norse traditions also involved human sacrifice, such as killing slaves to accompany their masters to the afterlife. Biblical accounts. The Hebrew Bible contains passages that suggest child sacrifice was performed by the Israelites to appease Yahweh, though these passages show a complex and sometimes contradictory approach to the practice. The purpose of sacrifice. Appeasement. Human sacrifice was a way to gain the god's favor and avert divine wrath. Fertility and purification.
Right, so pause for a second.
Yep.
Why would you want to worship a god that demands you kill things or people so the god is okay with you? I mean,
right.
It's amazing how people can read that and go, yeah, I want that god. That sounds like a fucking psychopath monster.
It has to be like, initially it has to be like a fear-based belief system, right? Like you're like afraid of the wrath.
Right. And
then somehow it becomes like a devotion because of the emotional connection with fear, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
You see how a rational mind that's not just looking at it as it is, it sounds sickening.
Yeah.
If I just took God out and said, that Trump decided or Biden decided or,
anything.
Some other person, even some anarchists that said, let's kill people because doing this will make me happy. You would be like, what in the fuck?
Yeah, there's no way. What are you talking about? Although there are many people who would, if Trump said, kill these people because it'll make me happy, there's some that would do it. So
well, and I see those people as deviant and sick. There's something wrong with them. Not let's worship them.
Yeah, for sure. So we also go on to fertility and purification, and it was also intended to promote the fertility of the earth and people and provide purification. Atonement. Sometimes sacrifices served as atonement or punishment, providing a form of payment for sins or transgressions.
Right. Sin, another bullshit term.
Yeah.
So the other thing is also the union of kings and horses. They would actually have sex with the horse and get buried with the horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Anyways, it's just, we're not going to go into that, but like I said, there's way too much stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
But then the next thing I just show really quick is the mounds and how they, like we already showed you the other picture. This is more like a visual display of how they sort of changed, but also are very similar. Don't you see that? We already talked about it in the last video.
Yep.
Right. So the arrows and the question marks, which I said in the last video, is just my idea of which way they went and because of the information and how they present their stuff. Right. We're not going to go into that. Next picture is showing the Twin Peaks. in a piece of art, and that's supposed to be the sun with his knife cutting the darkness or whatever.
Okay.
We're not going to read about that. Go ahead and read about Mishu, Twin Peaks.
Mushu, Axis Mundi.
Yep. And the Axis Mundi is the center of the world, or the world pillar, or the world tree, or whatever. Go ahead.
Which we've also done videos on.
We have done videos on.
Yeah.
So, because right, Corey. So you start to see, even though all these things that before seemed random, you start to see. Well, wait a minute.
This is
keep
connected.
Coming up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Mashu, Axis Mundi, mountains, Twin Peaks. Axis Mundi, center of the world, world tree, tree of life, Milky Way, Mount of Creation, world turtle, sacred mountain, step pyramid, Kurgan, world turtle, mound of creation, world mountain, Shamash, the sun, between Mashu's peaks, Akkadian 3rd millennium, BCE, which I see as relating back to Olkhon's Island Twin Peaks in Lake Baikal, Siberia, as well as Beluga Mountains Twin Peaks, the highest mountain in Altai. DNA from Lake Baikal, Siberia, 24,000 years ago, was first in the Middle East 22,000 years ago with R1b, in the Middle East 12,300 years ago with R1a, and in the Middle East 10,200 years ago with R2a, and then in the Middle East 7,000 to 6,000 years ago with Q1a. I believe.
So pause for a second. So when people are like, oh, it's the one white people that everything. Well, everyone understand QDNA is 90% of South America.
Right.
So those are indigenous people. They would have been dark and not white. So I'm just making a comment. So it just shows that all the ideas we talked about before, going back and forth, wasn't all just our DNA, which people see as white people. Of course, at that time, 22,000, they weren't white yet.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Like, let's get back to reality.
Yeah, that's funny. I believe that the Axis Mundi was originally a mountain or tree in Siberian shamanism in early paganism, approximately 12,000 years ago, before it was transformed into a turtle around 10,000 years ago, after the ideas were transferred from northern Israel to southeastern Turkey. Mashu Mountains Twin Peaks in Mesopotamian mythology. Mountain Meru's twin peaks are revered by Hindus, Jains, and Buddhists as the center of all physical, metaphysical, and spiritual universes. The phrase Aztec Twin Mountains most commonly refers to Popocatépetl, I said that wrong, Iztaccíhuatl, two prominent volcanoes located in Mexico that overlook the Valley of Mexico, where the Aztec Empire was once centered. Popocatépetl and Iztaccíhuatl refers to the volcanoes, the Smoky Mountain, and white, like salt white woman, and Nahuatl, sometimes called the Mujer Dormida, sleeping woman in Spanish.
All right,
the national park.
Let's get down to
sure.
Well, I know it's kind of hard. Read down where it says images and symbols, study religious symbols by. This is the Mercy Edia. I don't agree with everything he said, but I do think he was on to some stuff that I agree with. And the archaeologists I told you before see him as, because from an archaeological perspective, without going deep dive in the myths like I've done, or realizing some of the stuff he says sounds like, wow, like when you say a mountain and a tree and a turtle and a Milky Way, and but also two mountains and also a mound that's only one, and
right.
It's just people are like, what? It's too much because they don't grasp it. That's true. It's complicated. You don't have all day to listen to me to explain it to you, but just trust me, it is. And if you want to go look at the book, I mean, not book, but the blog, there's other link stuff. So I don't agree with everything this person says, but I do think that there is some credibility to some
merit. Images and Symbols, Studies in Religious Symbolism by Mircea Eliade pointed out that cities, temples, or palaces regarded as centers of the world are only replicas repeating ad libitum the same archaic image, the cosmic mountain, the world tree, or the central pillar which sustains the planes of the cosmos. This ancient cosmic mountain was predominantly a bilaterally symmetric twin-peaked mound. The distinctive morphology was clearly apparent in global iconography, text, architecture, and the alignment of sacred buildings or markers towards twin-peaked or notched mountains in localized landscapes. In Maya cosmology, twin peaks were a significant motif, often represented by stepped pyramids in plazas. These structures were thought to define the edges of the cosmos. Mount Tai's twin peaks in China. Mount Tai is the highest point in the Shandong province, China. The tallest peak is the Jade Emperor Peak. Mount Tai is known as the eastern mountain of the sacred mountains of China. It is associated with sunrise, birth, and renewal, and is often regarded the foremost of the five. Mount Tai has been a place of worship for at least 3,000 years and served as one of the most important ceremonial centers of China during large portions of this period. The concept of twin peaks is present in various contexts, often symbolizing duality, balance, or specific deities and their stories. For example, Nanda Devi is a twin-peaked mountain with a story rooted in two sisters, Nanda and Sunanda, from Indian mythology. Nanda Devi is a two-peaked massif forming a 2-kilometer long, 1.2 mile high ridge oriented east-west. The western summit is higher than the eastern summit, which is called Nanda Devi East, locally known as Sananda Devi. Another example is Mangatungi, a twin-peaked mountain sacred to Jains. Mangatungi is a prominent mountain in Hindu and Jain mythology known for its twin peaks. Additionally, the concept of twin peaks can be seen in the Shivling mountain, which has a twin summit. And then we have a picture of various...
I put a picture together. Every picture on here is actually a sacred mountain. And I'm just showing like how many of these sacred mountains are twin peaked.
Right.
Even the lake even the mound sort of thing in Lake Baikal is also twin peak. Right. And the other side has a dragon looking thing.
Right.
And even Mount Ararat, where the Bible supposedly says, that the ark landed on, it also happens to just magically be a twin peak.
Yeah. Sacred twin peak mountains. The name Khan Tengri literally means King Heaven in Kyrgyz and Kazakh, or King Sky in Mongolian, and possibly references the sky deity Tengri that exists both in the religion of Tengrism and Central Asian Buddhism. Mount Tai is known as the eastern mountain of the sacred mountains of China. It is associated with sunrise, birth, and renewal, and is often regarded the foremost of the five. Mount Tai has been a place of worship for at least 3,000 years and served as one of the most important ceremonial centers of China during large portions of this period. Beluga Mountain is the highest peak of the Altai Mountains in Russia and the highest of the South Siberian mountain system. It is part of the Golden Mountains of Altai. The Altai Mountains have been identified as being the point of origin of a cultural enigma termed the Sima Turbino phenomenon, which arose during the Bronze Age around the start of the second millennium BCE, and led to a rapid and massive migration of peoples from the region into distant parts of Europe and Asia. Mount Beluga is regarded as a sacred site to Buddhists and Burkanists. Their myths surrounding this portion of the mountain range lent credence to their claim that it was the location of Shangri-La, or Shambhala. The permafrost in these mountains has preserved Scythian burial mounds. These frozen tombs, or kurgans, hold metal objects, pieces of gold, mummified bodies, tattooed bodies, sacrificed horses, wood, leather objects, clothes, textiles, etc. Shaman Rock, Olkhon Island, Lake Baikal. The rock is considered to be one of the 9 holy sites of Asia. On the western side of the surface of the back of the rock, there is a natural brown rock formation resembling a dragon. Mount Ararat is a snow-capped and dormant compound volcano in easternmost Turkey. It consists of 2 major volcanic cones, Greater Ararat and Little Ararat. Greater Ararat is the highest peak in Turkey and the Armenian highlands with an elevation of 5,137 meters or 16,854 feet. Little Ararat's elevation is 3,896 meters or 12,782 feet. In Europe, the mountain has been called by the name Ararat since the Middle Ages, as it began to be identified with the mountains of Ararat. described in the Bible as the resting place of Noah's Ark, despite contention that Genesis 8:4 does not refer specifically to a Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat forms a near quadrupoint between Turkey, Iran, Armenia, and the Nakhchivan enclave of Azerbaijan. Although the word agri literally translates to pain, the current name is considered a derivative of the mountain's initial Turkish name, Egir Dag, which translates as heavy mountain. The Kurdish name of the mountain is Siye Agiri, which translates to fiery mountain. Several scholarly etymologies have also been proposed. Anatoly Novoseltev suggested that it derives from Middle Persian Masist, meaning the largest. According to Sargos Petrosian, the Mas root in Masis means mountain, corresponding to Proto-Indo-European. MNS Armen Petrosan suggests a link to the Masu or Mashu mountain mentioned in the Epic of Gilgamesh, pronounced Mashu in Assyrian, or Mesu.
Right, but once again, it just shows, look at how this stuff has deeper connections if you actually look at all the information.
Right.
It's not just, Damien threw a bunch of pictures of mountains that have twins. Random.
Yeah. Not only, it's like it's so many cultures using similar ideas and even similar words to describe these things. So
yeah, I must be wrong.
Yeah.
No, Corey, it was mental illness somehow, or it's an archetype. We all know mountains in our head somehow.
Gods came from lightning, remember?
Oh yeah, lightning, which is not the first god in any religion, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But just think how much that now when you say stuff, like I've told you before, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to understand.
Yeah, and that, I think, if a person looks at this and says, like, okay, well, obviously there's multiple sources saying these multiple things about these mountain ranges that have two peaks and they're sacred in this religion, and that same set of peaks is sacred in this other religion, and then it's like it does become relatively easy to draw the line, the connections, right?
Right, but also I'm trying to show too, it's part of the larger thing because it's the Axis Mundi, and also the Mount of Creation, which is the first Earth, or the from the water land, and then when the flood happens, that's a second creation, because then the first thing that you get out of the water is once again a mountain that the boat lands on.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it's because it's a dualistic, destruction and reincarnation, life again or whatever. So Jesus didn't invent the whole reincarnation, 3-day thing.
Right. Yeah.
No, that's just an archetype continuing of a myth that has been going around since at least shamanism.
Yeah, for sure.
Like 30,000 years.
Yeah. That's a pretty long time.
Youngsters in the room. That's old.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I guess additionally, the land of Ur-Kui, mentioned in Urartian texts and identified with Ararat, may preserve a native Armenian form of the same name. Urku meaning two in Armenian. Volcanic eruptions of Mount Ararat occurred in 2500 to 2400 BCE and 550 BCE, possibly in 1450 CE and 1783 CE, and definitely in 1840 CE. Archaeological evidence demonstrates that explosive eruptions and pyroclastic flows from the northwest flank of Mount Ararat destroyed and buried at least one Kura Araxes culture settlement and caused numerous fatalities in 2500 to 2400 BCE.
Right. Why that's a real important is that culture that became the Jews and the Palestinians and Lebanese, maybe some Jordan too, but basically more Lebanese and Palestinians and Jews, some of them, of course, the ones that are related to this, come from the Krugal Axis culture about 4,000 years ago. So when it says 2004, which is really saying is 4,400.
Right.
So by 4,000, they were invading or
Oh.
populating or colonizing places people already were at. So it's
Right.
colonizing.
Yeah, it's
but anyways, then they took over or blended, so they became part of what now is a lot of stuff. But so it's real important is if you know Abraham's mythology, if the Bible, if you look at the chronology, it says Abraham showed up in the land of Canaan, which would be called Palestine or whatever, 4,000 years ago. And so I believe, yeah, he came from, and then his father lives up in Turkey. In the Bible, it says his father, I can't remember, it's a Hebron or Herberum or something. I can't remember now, it's the top of my head, but it's like halfway point. If you were to start at the mountain and try to go to Israel, you practically would go through the other city where he says his father lived.
Right.
So that's also why I have a problem when people say, "Oh, well, he was in the Sumerian cities down in Iraq," and I'm like, yeah. It would make a lot more sense since we know 100% that real people that ended up becoming Jews did come from the Kurgal access culture in Turkey, right below Mount Ararat that exploded.
Right.
And right about the time that it exploded, they could have gone and then carried the myth of the new exploded god or whatever, of the mountain. Anyway, but I'm just saying, so there's to me a connection with that. I think heavily that influenced stuff. Anyways, but go ahead and read look at the next picture. This is also showing in China, once again, a twin mountain. No, Corey, say it isn't so. Wait a minute. That's the god Tan and Tangerine. Wait a minute. It's almost like there's something going on.
Yeah.
And then even the Longshan culture in southern China, or not southern, in northeastern China, also the sacred mountain, if I put a little V, Tan Shan, that also is a twin thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they look for mountains with twins and then call them sacred mountains. Could be wrong, but I'm seeing a theme.
There's definitely a pattern here.
Yeah. And as you know, the one in the middle is showing that the cultures in Iran and, of course, Iraq did go to Siberia and then did transfer down to China. So,
right.
Once again, not a shocker that these myths transferred with the other people and metallurgy. And yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. You can read it.
Sure. The Tian Shan, also known as the Tengri Tag or Tengir II, meaning the mountains of God/heaven, is a large system of mountain ranges in Central Asia. The highest peak is Jengesh Chokushu at 7,439 meters or 24,406 feet high. And located in Kyrgyzstan, the lowest point is at the Turpan Depression, which is 154 meters or 505 feet below sea level. The Tian Shan is sacred in Tengrism. Its second highest peak is known as...
And so people know, because they maybe haven't watched all our videos, Tengrism is the religion of Siberia and the Mongols and the Turks.
Right.
So we're on the same page.
Yeah.
It's a form of almost like Proto-Indo-European, where it has a sky god, which is Tangerine. So, and it has an earth mother. Oh, wait a minute.
So it sounds similar to another one's.
But they're not connected, although I've shown you they are.
Right. Yeah. Its second highest peak is known as Khan Tengri, which can be translated as Lord of the Spirits. At the 2013 Conference on World Heritage, the eastern portion of Tian Shan in western China's Xinjiang region was listed as a World Heritage Site. The western portion in Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan was then listed in 2016. The Tian Shan range is located north and west of the Taklamakan Desert and directly north of the Tarim Basin.
And the Tarim Basin's important because that's where the Tarim Basin mummies were that looked like white people, but actually have Siberian rDNA female, not male, because of course the other one's male. This is a female that actually spread the white DNA. Everyone is white. Well, everyone's white in Europe because of that DNA.
Right.
So it is sort of correct because they kind of looked features of Europeans, but it actually, they don't have any European. It just went Siberia straight down. But the reason Europeans look like Europeans is because that DNA, about 13,000, 12,000 years ago, went all the way to Lithuania, Estonia, Finland, whatever, that area, Poland sort of area, and also went down to the Middle East. That's why Middle Easterners look kind of light skinned. So, it's the same DNA.
So the pale Asian DNA went to Europe-ish and made Europeans.
Yes, that's correct. And that same thing that white skin that Europeans love is the same one in the not Native American, in the Middle East. So the people they think are different, but not white people, actually, you're wrong because they are the exact same.
Right.
And since we're on that, yes, those people look like in China look like it is because China has a different version, both from Siberia, by the way, happen in the same area practically. It just, so Native Americans and the Chinese and Asians that got light skin all get it from, or mostly get it from, not European version, but the other version that went to the East. The one that goes to Middle East and goes to, say, Africa and Europe, that one that brought everything light skinned that way in the East, West side, is because of R1B. I don't know, but R1B female, not R1B male.
Right.
So the male eventually spreads it around, but that's because their great grandmother or whatever had white gene, But anyways, I would say, so it's interesting the Tarim Basin also relates to that. So that's like right there is where there's a big break of between. So people used to think that 5,000 years ago, people went from Ukraine with the light skin and took it to China.
But it's not that way. Yeah.
No, it went there 10,000 years ago from Siberia.
Yeah.
So it did show up in the Tarim Basin, I think 6,000 to 5,500 or something, which is almost the time that the Europeans show up. So I can see where the confusion was.
Right. But now the DNA shows that it was clearly
it shows it's pure from Siberia.
Yeah.
But like I said, they don't understand. Yeah, but Siberia is where the white people got it from Europe. Like you said before. So really all white skin is a derivative of Asia.
In a sense, eh?
Yeah. Even the Americas. Anywhere that there's lighter skin. Well, I shouldn't say that. Anywhere where it's whitish looking. Because lighter could be some version of, but for sure the lighter stuff that looks like white, it's
what we might call pale is like
exactly. So and of course it migrated and it took ideas with it, like we already talked about. So it wasn't a white invasion. It was more like Siberia invaded everybody else, and then everybody got white, and they're like, "Oh yeah, see, we're the originals."
That's just not how it worked.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for playing. That's not what happened.
Where was I? Oh yeah, the Tarim Basin. It straddles the border regions of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Xinjiang in northwest China. To the south, it connects with the Pamir Mountains, whilst to the north and east, it meets the Altai Mountains of Mongolia. Tian is one of the oldest Chinese terms for heaven and a key concept in Chinese mythology, philosophy, and cosmology. During the Shang Dynasty, 17th to 11th century BCE, the Chinese referred to their highest god as Shangdi, or Di, or Lord. During the following Zhou Dynasty, Tian became synonymous with this figure. Before the 20th century, worship of Tian was an orthodox cosmic principle of China. For the etymology of Tian, Schussler links it with the Turkic and Mongolian word Tengri, sky, heaven, deity, or the Tibeto-Burman words Talen, Adi, or Telian, Lepka, both meaning sky or god. He also suggests a likely connection between Tian, Dian, summit, mountaintop, and Dian, summit, top of the head, forehead, which have cognates such as Zemek, Naga, or sky.
Right. So we're back to about mountains.
Yeah.
So, but keep reading.
Sure. So Chinese god Tian and mountain worship. The Tian Shan, also known as Tengri, Tag, Tengrel, is the all-encompassing god of heaven, or Tengri Tu, meaning the god of heaven/earth, is a large system of mountain ranges in Central Asia. In China, mountain worship is a deep-rooted tradition with origins in ancient beliefs about the spiritual significance of mountains. Mountains were not only seen as physical landmarks, but also as dwelling places for deities, ancestors, and spirits, playing a crucial role in both Taoism and Chinese folk religion. For the etymology of Tian, Schussler links it with the Turkic-Mongolian word Tengri, or sky, heaven, deity, or the Tibeto-Burman words Talen, Lian, both meaning sky or god. He also suggests a likely connection between Tian, Dian summit, mountaintop, and Dian summit, top of the head, forehead, which have cognates such as Zemek, Nega, or sky. In Taoism and Confucianism, Tian, the celestial aspect of the cosmos, often translated as heaven, is mentioned in a relationship to its complementary aspect of Di, often translated as earth.
Right. So pause for a second. So sky, heaven, and earth. So like sky father, earth mother. You see what I'm saying? Even the tan also is relating to the same stuff in the Middle East.
Right.
And Proto-Indo-European, and in Africa, and in China, and in the Americas, and in Polynesia. And
Yeah.
It's almost like it's all connected.
Yeah.
But it's not an archetype that we all have this one single concept of God. It's that ideas spread around, and that is why they're similar.
Yeah, it's I guess as a materialist worldview, it can be easily explained by the migration of ideas, and you don't have to believe in some kind of like cosmic, like unconscious that we all just magically know about. Yeah,
exactly. Which is woo-woo bullshit to me, because if you look at the facts, it seems very obvious, which I keep trying to show in all these videos.
Yeah.
It is human made, and not because everyone has this wild fantasy or collective unconscious, but somebody somewhere invented it. Yeah. Then they moved, and then those people adopt almost the same shit, and then it moves, and those people adopt the same shit, and then all of a sudden everyone has the same shit, but they have something that relates to them personally, and they forget it was transferred, and they're like, well, this is ours, and ours is special.
Right. Yeah. Because like over 1,000 years, yeah, for sure. Over 1,000 years, people forget, well, where did this come from in the first place?
But we've always had it.
Yeah,
it's always connected to mountains. We're special, and our mountains are twin mountains. I'm like, actually, that's a common as fuck theme.
Your twin mountains aren't that different from their twin mountains.
Yeah. Oh no, ours is at least 3,000 years old. I'm like, yeah, well, the ones in Siberia, at least 24. So I don't know who you think you're fighting.
Yeah. Tengri is the all-encompassing god of heaven in the traditional Turkic, Yanesian, Mongolic, and various other nomadic religious beliefs. Worship surrounding Tengri is called Tengrism. The core beings in Tengrism are the Sky Father, Tengri Etzeg, and the Earth Mother, Umay Ana. It involves ancestor.
The Sky Father, Earth Mother again.
Again. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. But like I said, if you've watched all the other videos,
yeah,
and if you haven't, go do that.
You should be expecting this by now.
Yeah, you'd be like, of course.
Yeah, that's right. It involves ancestor worship, as Tengri was thought to have been an ancestral progenitor of mankind in Turkic regions and Mongolia, shamanism, animism, and totemism.
which we've also addressed all those things.
Yeah. We're on to AI overview, duality, and emergence from a water world, great flood, or second water world.
Right, because I consider the flood story, as I've told you before, and we've had at least 2 videos, I think, on water.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3. But the water is, the flood part is not an outside of the creation story. It's literally part of it.
Right.
To me. Or a continuation or a reenactment of the creation story.
Yeah. So duality and the emergence of a primeval mound are key themes in Egyptian creation mythology, representing the transition from chaos to order, where the mound, or Ben, symbolizes the first land to rise from the primordial waters, or water world. This emergence highlights the duality of chaos and order, as well as light and darkness, with the sun god Ra first appearing from this mound. The pyramid structure, influenced by the mound's shape, became a symbol of this act of creation and the owner's rebirth.
Wait a minute. They made it in the shape of the creation mound. Isn't that what I said before? Oh,
it sounds
aliens?
Familiar. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't aliens.
Oh, it had a very... Oh, so when I said it was that, and then they say it's that, it's almost like it was that.
Yeah, that's right. Duality in Egyptian creation, chaos and order. Egyptian cosmology centers on the struggle between Nun, the primordial waters of chaos, and the subsequent emergence of order through the creator god. Life and death. The cyclical nature of life and death is central, with the daily journey of the sun god Ra representing the renewal of life, according to Fiveable. Light and darkness. The concept of light from darkness is also present, with the sun god's emergence from the dark primordial waters, signifying the dawn of creation. The Great Deluge represents divine judgment and the chaotic forces that destroy a corrupt world, while the survival of the chosen few offers the promise of a new beginning. Across many cultures, the dualism of destruction and renewal is a central theme in flood mythology. Destruction
right, and
versus...
the reason it's all over the place and it's all similar is because it is similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa, it's what they call Occam's razor. The most simplest answer is the answer. Well, then the most simplest answer is because it migrated and they took ideas similar, and so they have similar ideas.
Yep, for sure. Destruction
also
versus...
goes back to our atheism.
Yeah.
There's no reason to believe this is magic, and every reason to believe this is just culture and story.
Absolutely.
It's like someone watched, Lord of the Rings, and then they make other movies that are similar to Lord of the Rings. Well, they watched Lord of the Rings.
Right. It wasn't a collective unconscious magical being that made them think that.
Right. Or it also, I feel like after all my videos, I think it's easy for me to confidently say I'm a strong atheist and zero agnostic. I see zero rationale to hold on to. Maybe there's a God. No, all these fucking stories. Well, you don't know. I do know all the stories, and all the stories are telling the same shit. This is humans creating shit, not me just guessing it. We can literally see that that's what they did.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So destruction versus renewal. The most fundamental dualism in flood myths is the tension between destruction and the subsequent rebirth of the world. Divine retribution and mercy. A flood often embodies a deity's wrath sent to punish humanity for its wickedness or arrogance. In the Greek myth, Zeus's flood destroys the Bronze Age for its impiety, but he shows mercy by sparing Deucalion and Pyrrha to repopulate the earth. A chaotic versus ordered world. The flood narrative is a story of a cosmic order being restored after a period of increasing chaos and human corruption. In Mesopotamian myths, like the Atrahasis epic, the gods flood the world to control human overpopulation, which has disturbed the cosmic balance. Afterward, new social norms are established to maintain order. Cosmic versus human scale. The flood tests the relationship between divine will and human agency. The gods orchestrate the catastrophe, but human heroes like Noah or Utnapishtim must use their piety and ingenuity to survive and preserve life. Purity versus corruption. Flood myths often use water as a symbolic medium to cleanse a corrupt world and allow for a pure new beginning.
Right. And the pure new beginning, like I said, relates back to the dualism of creation itself being the beginning and pure.
Yeah. Yeah, like even all of these kind of have the duality to them, hey?
That's what I'm trying to show. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, we will not address all duality that needs to be addressed. But I do want to really impart on you that there's no such thing as not duality in religion. It's
right.
It's so much. It's like layered.
Dualities within dualities within dualities.
Right, yeah, exactly. Or reenacting duality of a different kind in a different way, in a different, yeah.
Yeah.
But it, like you said, that's also why I say that I feel it's wrong to look for the great flood as evidence on the earth.
Right.
To some place, because it was a mythological concept that I think came from Lake Baikal, which doesn't even flood.
Right. Yeah. It was never actually about real stuff.
Oh, there we go. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Now we're on the same page. That's why when people's like, oh, I know where the flood came from. I'm like,
you're asking the wrong questions there, guy.
Well, there are real floods. I'm like, you're missing the myth. Totally.
Really. I mean, yeah, there are real floods, but that's not what this is about.
I'm not saying that, but I mean, but when it says the great flood, it isn't saying any kind of flood we can just say is part of it.
Right.
And this also it's a myth. Are you gonna look for the cosmic mountain?
Right, exactly. It's like looking for the Axis Mundi. Right.
Exactly. Where's the center of the world? There's no such fucking thing.
That's not how this works. Not really. Yeah.
No, if you mean like the axis poles the earth spin on, they didn't know that shit.
Nope, absolutely not. And to imagine that they did is to give them like more knowledge about things that are out of their ability to know.
Right, exactly.
But
and even if they did, if this story still relates to mythology,
right? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wickedness versus righteousness. In the biblical story, earth is corrupt and filled with violence. Before God sends his flood, he saves Noah and his family because Noah is described as a righteous and blameless man in a wicked generation. Cleansing versus defilement. The flood acts as a purifier, washing away the sins and defilements of the old world. In some traditions, such as ancient Jewish texts, the flood purges the earth not only of human sin, but also of supernatural corruption, such as that introduced by the Nephilim or giants. Emptying versus refilling. Following the deluge, the earth is left empty of its previous inhabitants and filled with a new beginning. The land is repopulated by the chosen few who receive a fresh start and the chance to build a better world. Other dualistic elements. Flood myths also contain other important dualisms related to human and divine relationships, such as humanity's failures and triumphs. The people of the Mayan Popol Vuh present a duality of failed and successive creations. After several failed attempts to create humans from mud and wood, a flood is used to destroy the flawed versions. A final successful creation from maize leads to the current more perfected human race. Divine regret and purpose. In some narratives, deities express regret over the destruction they have wrought. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the gods regret their decision to send the flood. This highlights the duality of divine power to both judge and feel remorse, reinforcing the moral lessons of the myth.
Right. And then the twin horns also relates to this similar stuff. And that's the next picture. Because once again, all this stuff is not a one-off. Go ahead and read the Twin Horns mythology.
The Twin Horns mythology is related to the Twin Mountain with twin peaks mounted as well. And between both the Twin Mountains, twins, and the Twin Horns is the sun.
See, pause for a second. So once again, I'm not guessing. They believe that, and then their iconography shows it doing that very thing.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
because it's actually connected.
We have Mehet Weret was one of the images of the celestial cow goddess. And like you say, you show the mountains there with the sun in between them and the
Right?
valley. And yeah.
Well, because I'm trying to get you to not just like that's why I said that one guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Mara Etta, whatever his name. I'm saying it wrong, whatever. But that the archaeologists don't like because he says stuff that sounds like,
oh
what the
yeah,
fuck? You know. Like, but that's why I said I know. That's why when someone said before, well, some people don't. Could maybe not believe my stuff, and I'm like, well, that's because they haven't watched all this stuff and read the blogs that I've proved.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you look at everything, like it seems pretty like it's well evidenced, I guess is the way to phrase it.
Right. Exactly. And so it certainly is a good speculation, which that's all I say it is. It's a reasoned speculation.
Yeah.
So that is what my claim is. And I do think it's accurate and reasoned because I'm showing you all the evidence that and different myths in different places at different times and all doing and relating to this absolutely similar shit.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and read this. Dualism, twin mountains.
Dualism,
and reincarnation.
Yeah. Dualism, twin mountains, and reincarnation are related to the flood myths. The world started as a water-only world, thought of as a time of chaos or dragon. Then the mound of creation, or world mountain, or world turtle and mountain, is involved in the first land. The land dries and grows into all the land on earth. The world floods after the land grows and again is reborn as the mountain, second mount of creation, which again the land dries and grows into the land on the earth now. So the earth, land, or mound of creation was born, then born again in water, and thus the flood and baptism in water also share a dualness. We are Warway?
I may have just spelled something wrong.
I'm not.
Believe it or not, I once in a while make mistakes, Corey.
What? I don't believe it.
Well, that's like I told you before. I feel like I'm more trustable because I'm willing to accept that I make mistakes.
Right.
And people, like I was saying about some Marxist-Leninists, they will hear no mistake in their state system or Marxist-Leninism.
Right.
No mistake in any of their worshipped,
no inconsistencies at all. No.
Zero. None.
It's weird.
I'm like, yeah. I'm willing to accept that anarchists made mistakes, just like I do, because they're fucking people.
Yeah, they're human beings, and sometimes they are wrong about things, even if they have some good ideas at the same time.
Right, a dualistic thing that we can both say at the same time that, wow, Damien has great ideas, and Damien is also not always perfect.
Yep.
We can also say anarchism has great ideas, and some of its philosophers were not always perfect.
Yep, for sure.
But get a Marxist-Leninist to say that.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, that's usually when with our friend Justin, that's when they end up going a different direction into a slightly different philosophy than Marxist-Leninism is when they start acknowledging the mistakes there.
And by the way, I'm not saying that people at Marxist-Leninists are not good people. Nope. I just hope they become anarchists.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I have many things in common with people who identify as Marxist-Leninists when we're talking about the world that exists and we're critical of capitalism, we're on the same page, right?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, well, like as I'm just saying is, I know that I've made some comments about it. I just want people to know that if I have those kind of friends, which I know I do, I still respect their friendship. I'm glad we're both trying to destroy capitalism.
Yep.
And even that what they say their goal is of capitalist, a communist society. Literally, once you read communist society, I'm like, how can I disagree with that?
We're on the same page there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So whether it's the mound of creation or us as the human creation in mythology shares a relatedness. The twin horns mythology is related to the twin mountain with twin peaks or mound as well. And between both the twin mountains, Twin Mound, Mountain Twins, and the Twin Horns is the sun. Mehet Weret was one of the images of the celestial cow goddess. Her name means the Great Flood, and she is depicted in a number of forms, which reflect a kind of relationship with her roles. Mehet Weret was an ancient Egyptian deity of the sky in ancient Egyptian religion.
Right, and so isn't that good that the cow, which is the sky, also means flood, and is also a dual thing, also has horns in the sun, you know? It's almost quite like I said before, when people act like the flood myth is some outside of all of the rest, you're not really read enough stuff on it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You're missing pieces.
You're missing pieces. And so the next thing is the picture of that I drew for rebirth and reincarnation. And by the way, it's in Siberia, 100% of the cultures, and it's in the Native Americans, 100% of the cultures. But also, you can read the rest now.
Reincarnation.
Indigenous religions.
Oh,
it says reincarnation. The picture itself. It says reincarnation.
Yeah, reincarnation, rebirth in indigenous religions, Siberia, Americas, and Aboriginal Australians, Celtic Druids, as well as Indian religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism.
Reason I bring that up is because a lot of people, when they think of reincarnation, they just think Hindu.
Yeah, but there's more than multiple.
Yeah,
there's multiple.
Yeah, right. And the fact that it's 100% in Siberia and 100% in the Americas and all cultures,
right?
In some variations, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
down to the AI overview: duality and reincarnation myths. Duality and reincarnation myths often explore the soul's journey, contrasting physical existence with a spiritual essence and depicting cycles of death and rebirth through symbols like plants, seasons, or figures. These stories, seen in Greek, Plato's dualism, and Egyptian mythologies, illustrate how an individual's actions determine their next life form or spiritual state, linking the material world's limitations with the soul's enduring transformative nature. Duality in mythology. Plato's philosophy. In Greek philosophy, Plato described a soul trapped within the body, which acts as a prison. The body's desires and pleasures distract the soul from its true purpose of contemplating eternal forms, highlighting a fundamental duality between the immortal soul and the perishable body.
Right, and just pause for 1 second there. And remember, I've talked about before that to animism people, like the Hazai, they believe that you have two souls, so you're two-spirited.
Right.
And that all people are two-spirited, and it's actually totemism that breaks that. But anyways, so it starts, which animism, I believe, is 100,000 years old. It starts, and one of the reasons they give for why there's two spirits, they also believe they're male and female, because they believe the father and the mother both gave a spirit, and so you have a male and female spirit in you. So you, in a sense, you are not just a dual-spirited being, but a dual-gendered spirit.
Right.
For all those people that are homophobic.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But I'm saying, so once again, it's a dualism and the kind of two dualisms. So it's dual dualisms.
That's cool. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, so it's very involved. So the dualism stuff could start in animism and before it left. So that would be like maybe 55,000 to 100,000 years old. I don't know.
Right. Huh. That's pretty old.
Well, right, pretty old. So I'm just saying, once again, you know, that when people think, going back to bigots, sorry for a second, but we have to address this. The fact that they think it's a new thing. Well, these fucking transgenders or whatever, genderqueer or non-binary, I'm not learning pronouns. It's all new. This is not new.
No.
In fact, this is some of the oldest religious ideas in the world.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Like crazy old. Like
yeah. Right. Like way before you think religion starts.
Yeah. Before your supposed God was actually even created.
Correct. And before there was even totemism, before there was shamanism or paganism, when it was just animism, this is likely the case.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, so it just shows that, once again, if the materialistic worldview, understanding, well, we now understand that people aren't really just one thing, and there's not just the Dawkins version of the world, where he thinks just two things. Of course, he does admit there's intersex people, but somehow that doesn't mess up his only two things, even though there's three at least.
Yeah, that's right. No, I never understood how that wouldn't just like completely annihilate, like, do we not believe in falsification anymore?
Right. Well, he doesn't, obviously, or he's misinformed, because he supposedly does a lot about animals and actually not humans. But then he makes the ridiculous statement in a video that I watched and that I talked about with another Ember, another
I saw you've been doing some
intersex person, and I explained about Dawkins. I wanted to attack his bullshit because there's a person that attacked him, but they actually didn't attack the one that I wanted to attack. He says he's not expert on people. Okay, so he could have got people wrong. He's not that kind of biologist, but he is a plant animal type of biologist. And plants are intersex.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah. And there's a shit ton of animals. In fact, I have a tortie cat, and the male versions of tortie cats are intersexed because the torties are only female. So if there's a male one, it is an intersex.
Right.
Anyways, my point is, so when he said, well, the natural world, tells us that it's just binary, I'm like, are you fucking stupid or lying?
Yeah.
Because that is wrong as fuck.
There's not even what the word
people, that's wrong.
That's right. Even if you hate trans people, that's wrong. Like,
come on.
You're just not using the word binary correctly. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. What the fuck? I mean, so I and also things switch genders. He's like, oh, it's fixed. It's not fixed. He's acting like, well, he goes, there's different ways it happens. Sometimes the animals, it happens with heat and whatever. Yeah, and he forgets to mention, they actually switch genders and different stuff. And well, in that video, I made a mistake though, because I know a lot, and sometimes I forget. I thought that I had heard that the spotted hyena had a 7-inch penis, which is a pseudo penis that's actually just a big clitoris, which they try to say somehow is not intersex, but yet it has androgen heightened, which androgen heightened in humans makes them not be able to play in the Olympics because they're intersex.
Right.
So I think it's weird when they're like, oh yeah, it's not like a Dawkins. It's not intersex, even though if that same feature is in a human, we call him intersex and we won't let him play in female sports.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, but I was wrong in the fact that I said I thought they grew it. And now I know, well, it does grow, but the dominant one probably especially because they have the most of this androgen heightened, which makes you intersex, or usually is caused by intersex conditions, or can be. That's not what I got wrong. I got wrong because I thought they grew it once the male died, or whatever. Then they take over like the clan or herd or harem or whatever. So that part's not accurate. They don't do it because of the male. In fact, they dominate the males. They're bigger than the males, and they actually have bigger pseudo penises sometimes than the males. But and I said that they had sex with the things. Well, they try to they pseudo copulate. And they with the pseudo penis that's like can be 7 inches long. And they do bisect, because sometimes they say they're not homosexual. Well, they have other females lick the clitoris. So I just find sometimes when they talk like Dawkins, sometimes when they talk about shit, I feel it's dishonest as fuck. Right. I don't know. If another guy comes up and starts licking my dick, would you say that I'm just being totally heterosexual behavior?
That's at least bisexual.
Well, it's because it's a dominance thing. I'm like, okay, it's a dominance thing that relates to bisexual. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Like, why make the distinction, I guess, is why, like,
I just, because I feel like him, they want to see the world as non-hetero, homosexual, just heteronormative.
Right.
Non-homosexual, and then, like I said too, non-intersex, because if that same thing happens in humans, we literally don't let them play sports that are females in the Olympics.
Yeah.
because they're not a female. So to call those not intersex and only female, I feel is, and I understand it. It just, anyways, you get what I'm saying. I feel like we're playing fucking word games.
Yeah.
You know, but it's toxic because the word game is trying to eliminate that trans people are legitimate or intersex people are real and exist.
Yeah.
So, you know, anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And that is the purpose of their word game, right? Like, and then if we get caught up in it, trying to debunk their word games, then we're also unfortunately participating in that. But on some level, we still have to, because they're using words wrong, and we need to we need to deal with that, I guess.
Right. And here's my thought. Let's say, Corey, as an anarchist, that I don't believe, like Dawkins. Let's say I was Dawkins, right? I don't believe there's thing. What does it matter if Corey is this?
Yeah.
Shouldn't my humanity as an anarchist go, okay, and?
Yep, that's right.
And? Corey says he's a female. And?
So
what the fuck would I care?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I just feel like that also is an for me as an axiological thinker. That's just so gross, because even if it wasn't, and the fuck does that matter? Why anyway?
It's like people who still think that like they can diminish you as a man because by calling you gay in some way,
right?
And you're like, but there's like literally nothing offensive about that. Like, I do not care. Call me gay if you want. I don't care.
Exactly. But you get what I'm trying to say is that I would think if you say you're an ethical, humanistic person,
right,
it literally should not care to you.
Does not matter.
You should go, I support you.
Yep.
That's right. As long as you're not doing it to me, I don't have to get trans surgery if an adult man, you know, they wants to become a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that people can get tattoos? Yeah. If they put it on their forehead, do I agree with that? I told you, I think face tattoos seem bizarre to me. But if other people want to do it, Corey, they can do stuff I don't get.
Yeah.
I don't have to get it or agree or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't really get ASMR, but I'm not saying people can't listen to it.
I don't get it either. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Just on a humanity level, you fucking failed.
Yeah, that's right. Just stop telling other people who they are.
Yeah.
And who, you know, they get to be who they want. That's it.
But you get what I'm saying. It's not only to me even like because I always feel like the argument's always, is it biological or not? Actually, how about ethics?
Yeah. How about it doesn't matter? Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you then. How about that? Anyway.
Yep.
Let's go in. Binary soul doctrine.
Yes.
See? That fits what we're talking about.
Yeah. The binary soul doctrine. In Egyptian mythology, the concept of two souls, a Ba and a Ka, suggests a similar split in the psyche akin to conscious and unconscious. Duality and reincarnation. Cycles of life and transformation, reincarnation is often framed as a cyclical process where the soul undergoes repeated birth, death, and rebirth, a theme evident in myths of dying and rising gods like Osiris. The influence of actions. The individual's actions and character in one life influence their next incarnation. In Plato's view, negative traits might lead to rebirth as an animal or in a less fortunate state. Spiritual liberation. Some spiritual paths, such as Buddhism, view rebirth as an ongoing process that can be escaped through ethical living and spiritual practice, leading to liberation from the cycle. Examples in mythology. Greek mythology, the myth of Persephone's descent into the underworld and her return in spring symbolizes death and rebirth. Orphic myths, which inspired Plato, also detail this cyclical journey and the need for purification through moral actions in each life. Irish mythology. Tales of reincarnation, such as the Prince Mongan being the rebirth of the hero Fionn Mac-Cumhal, are intertwined with themes of shape-shifting and transformation, Dionysiac and Orphic traditions. These traditions describe the soul as a divine essence that must be purified to achieve salvation from the cycle of death and rebirth. AI overview: dual-natured beings and mythology. Dual-natured beings and concepts in mythology represent opposing forces like the half-human, half-horse centaur, embodying reason and instinct, or deities such as Persephone, who is both goddess of spring and queen of the underworld. This duality reflects broader cultural themes of the sacred and profane, good and evil, and the interplay between creation and destruction, appearing across diverse cultures as composite beings, twin deities, or opposing forces in creation myths and stories. Examples of dual-natured beings: centaurs from Greek mythology, human intelligence and civilization contrasted with the wild primal nature of the horse, symbolizing the tension between reason and instinct. Persephone from Greek mythology, the goddess of spring and the living, yet also the queen of the dead, embodying the cyclical nature of life and death. Yakshis, Indian folklore, beautiful yet terrifying vampire-like spirits, often born from wronged women, representing untamed feminine power and vengeful allure. Concepts of duality: dual creator deities, pairs of gods who embody complementary forces such as chaos and order to establish the universe. Duality in nature: the world seen as created or influenced by two forces, sometimes competing, sometimes cooperating, as seen in dualistic cosmologies worldwide. Duality of humanity: a concept found in various religious traditions, such as the two impulses in human nature, good and evil, that define the human condition. The significance of duality symbolism: dual nature in mythology symbolizes complex cultural understandings of the human condition, the self, and the forces that shape the world. Cultural representation: these beings and concepts reflect the internal conflicts and external forces within a culture, serving as both cautionary tales and explorations of societal themes. Universal motifs: the concept of duality is a convergent phenomenon appearing in mythologies across all inhabited continents, indicating a fundamental aspect of human thought and experience. The Gemini constellation. Gemini is one of the constellations of the zodiac and is located in the northern celestial hemisphere. It was one of the 48 constellations described by the 2nd century CE astronomer Ptolemy, and it remains one of the 88 modern constellations today. Its name is Latin for twins, and it's associated with the twins Castor and Pollux in Greek mythology. Its old astronomical symbol is looks like pi, uh, almost. Gemini.
It's got two lines, so it's
Yeah, yeah, like pillars in between a top and a bottom.
Yeah.
Gemini lies between Taurus to the west and Cancer to the east, with Auriga and Lynx to the north, Monoceros and Canis Minor to the south, and Orion to the southwest. And you have here, I am adding many Native American deities to show. Sky Father in Proto-Indo-European mythology, high god often related to the sun. Twin or two suns, divine twins in Proto-Indo-European mythology. Sky gods, sky father gods. These to me are closely related myths going back to South Siberia, North China, originally moved by migrations and trade. In comparative mythology, the Sky Father is a term for a recurring concept in polytheistic religion. The concept of Sky Father may also include sun gods with similar characteristics, such as Ra. The concept is complementary to an Earth Mother. Nitosi, or Creator God, High God, Sky Spirit. Nitosi, or Yadiri, is the name of the great sky god of the Dene tribes. Related figures in other tribes: Utak, Carrier, Nasaru, Erikara, or Gitchi Manitou from Chippewa.
And Gitchi Manitou is also considered to be the Great Spirit. Just showing how, once again, all this stuff really is freaking similar.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though I've taught it kind of broken up until you get the core of everything, it really is all like a bunch of shared ideas.
For sure. Mukat, creator, deity, or high god. Cahuilla and other Sonoran tribes of southeast California and southwestern Arizona consider him dangerous, made the life of the ancients miserable, drove away their protector, Minili, goddess of the moon, and was eventually slain by his own creations after teaching them warfare. In the creation, Mukat and Tamayawat were born from the union of twin balls of lightning, which were manifestations of Amna, power, and Tukmiut, night. Mukat and Tamayuat began a creative contest in which Tamayuat was bested and fled with his ill-formed creation below the earth. Divine twins gods. The divine twins are youthful horsemen, either gods or demigods, rescuers and healers in Proto-Indo-European mythology. Often with mention of a female figure, their mother or their sister, two brothers are descendants, sons or grandsons, of the sky god, Daius. The hero twins, or god boys, are recurring characters from the mythologies of the indigenous peoples of the Americas. The specifics of each myth vary from tribe to tribe, but each story has a pair of twins, usually with magical powers, who were born when their pregnant mother was killed by the tale's antagonist. Twins were considered unnatural in many cultures of this region, with beliefs about them having supernatural abilities. Sometimes the twins are separated at birth. Various versions have their mother's killer, leaving one where he could be easily found by his family, and the other deep in the wilderness, so that one boy grew up civilized and the other wild. Eventually,
which is another form of duality.
Right.
So duality and then extra duality.
And then the add a layer on it. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say, that once you grasp that you need to really be sensitive to hear duality in religious myths, you start to hear it better. Because you realize it's not a one-off. This is something you need to pay attention. Also tells you, like I said, that this is all human created stories.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Eventually, they become reunited and avenge the death of their mother. Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca are cultural heroes and creator deities of the Aztecs and are said to be brothers. They are often seen in competition with each other, like when the two fought over who would become the sun. They are also seen as allies, however, as both are considered protectors of Earth. They are also depicted as having another brother, Xolotl. He's even shown as helping Quetzalcoatl, returning the bones of the humans to the land of the living to bring them back to life. The twin heroes share many similarities in the mythology of different tribes, but are different in their relationships with other mythological figures. Their associations with stars or animal spirits and the nature of the particular adventures they go on. In some traditions, the twins personified good and evil. One twin is good while the other is evil, but in others, both are benevolent heroes. In some versions of this myth, the evil twin manipulates others into blaming his good brother for his misdeeds. The two brothers coexisted for a while, each making their own changes to the world. In the end, though, the twin gods fight each other, and the good brother prevails. In other traditions, the twin gods are not considered good or evil, but instead represent day and night, summer and winter, and life and death.
Which are all dualities.
Yeah, for sure. In some versions of that tradition, one is a trickster rather than a villain, and the brothers' relationship is one of rivalry rather than enmity. Native American magical twin. The birth of twins is considered a notable event in many Native American cultures. In most cultures, twins are considered good luck, while in some, twins are considered spiritually powerful and were trained as medicine people. Twin gods or heroes are a common motif in the mythology of many North American tribes, and human twins were sometimes associated with these mythological figures. In some Northwest Coast tribes, such as this one that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I'll destroy it.
It's like Kakawaka Waka or something.
Yeah, something like that. Twins are believed to be blessed by the Salmon people and have special ceremonial robes in the Salmon ceremony. In some southwestern tribes, such as the Mojave, twins were considered supernatural visitors who were exempt from normal tribal taboos, and though that tradition is no longer commonly observed, twins are still seen as a special blessing in these tribes. Twins are not viewed positively in all tribes, however. In some South American cultures, twins are considered a bad omen or the result of black magic, and some parents have even abandoned their newborn twins due to this belief.
Which is not good.
No, that's not good at all. Native American legends and traditional stories about twins. So there's Amalevaka and Voci.
Native American twin spirits. These are spirits.
Yeah.
And then the thing in the brackets is the tribe.
Right. So that's the first one is Amalevaka and Voci from Caravan tribe, the God Boys from Caddo, Hunapu and Ixablancu from Maya, Kari and Kami from Bakari, the Little Thunders in Seminole, Macunema and Pia from Carib, Monster Slayer and Child of Water from the Navajo, the twin gods Good Spirit and Bad Spirit, Iroquois, and twin heroes Lodge Boy and Spring Boy from Plains tribes. And then there's Native American twin stories, Lodge Boy and Thrown Away from a crow, and then a crow legend about the two mythical twins. And then that's the same one. Lodge Boy and Thrown Away is a crow legend about the two mythical twins.
Yes, the same one.
And then the twin brothers and the brothers who became lightning and thunder from Caddo legends about the twin heroes Thunder and Lightning. And then the birth of good and evil, Oneida myth about Sky Woman's twin grandchildren. And then there's the creation, Cayuga myth about Sky Woman and her twin sons, Good Spirit and Bad Spirit. The two sons of Abangui, god of the moon of the mythology of the Guarani Indians, climbed this chain until they reached the sky and remained there, turning into the sun and the moon. Kame or Kami, creator god, mythical twin. Kame is one of the twin creator gods of the Bakari tribe. Together with his brother Kari, Kame adapted the world for humans to live on. In other tribes, Mopo and Kujili, Apalai. We're not going to read the whole blog in a video, right?
There you go. Well, because that's not my goal. My goal is to read enough that you get it, that it is related.
Yeah.
It's because, like I said, a lot of people just think twins brothers only relates to Proto-Indo-European. That is wrong as hell.
Right. Yeah.
So, and like I said, you can read more in the thing. We would a couple pages down.
So many divine twins have split parentage. Many myths feature one mother and two fathers, or the twins are born in two different ways, with one born naturally and one coming from an egg or some other unusual source. This split parentage speaks directly to the duality nature of these archetypes. Even from their genesis, they are the same but different. Often their holy parent is a sky-related deity like storm, air, lightning, wind, thunder, and in particularly sun deities. Many twins are the natural siblings and dual protectors of solar maidens in particular.
Right, and then let's go down to where it says Yoruba divine twins. Yoruba, I mean.
Okay.
Because the other one's Native American, but we've already, or Mayan, but we've already read something like that. So
yeah. Yoruba divine twins. In Yoruba land pantheons, the Orishas, Ibije, are the holy twins. In the diaspora Yoruba of Latin America, these twins are equal to same as Saints Cosmas and Saint Damien. Yoruba land peoples believe twins are magical, and the great ancestor god Father Shango, who oversees thunder, lightning, justice, dance, and virility, guards them.
Just so people know, Yoruba also is in Africa originally. So,
in these communities, if one twin dies, it is a bad omen, not only for the family, but for the community as well. The family will ask about a Babalawo, an Ifa priest, to carve a wooden replacement for the lost twin. The family then dresses it and cares for it as a member of the family. In their myth, the first twin is Taiwo, second is Kehindi, or Omokehindi. The second twin, is the older twin. Taiwo goes first to make sure the world is fit for Kahindi. For the Dahomey people, this was Lisa and Mau, the twin lovers who birthed the universe together over 4 days as androgynous figure Maua Lisa, and the Dogon tribe sees them as the Numo twins, who are both androgynous and hermaphroditic.
Right, which we've already addressed earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, oh, what a coincidence.
Yeah. Both figures express any, all, and no genders in turn. The Numo twins are shapeshifters and connected to the serpent. They are usually depicted as conjoined twins and are described as the mothers of the earth. In Haitian Vodun, these twins are Marasa Jumeaux. They are polygendered children, but more ancient than any Loa. They represent and govern issues concerning astronomical and astrological learning, divine power versus human impotence, justice, truth, reason, and mystery. The European world also has its divine twins. The Latvian Deva Deli, who were the sons of God. Sicilian Palisi. One legend claims the Palisi are the sons of Zeus or possibly Hephaestus, but another story insists the Palisi were the sons of the Sicilian deity Adranus. Ancients associated them with geysers and the underworld. Germanic gods Aklis, Alkis, a pair of young male brothers worshipped by the Naharbali. Italian wolf gods Romulus and Remus, whose story tells the events that led to the founding of Rome. Anglo-Saxon warrior brothers Hengist and Horsa, whose names mean stallion and horse respectively. From Wikipedia, on farmhouses in Lower Saxony and Schleswig-Holstein horse head gables were referred to as Hungst und Horse as late as around 1875. Rudolf Simek notes that these horsehead gables can still be seen today and says that the horsehead gables confirm that Hengist and Horsa were originally considered mythological horse-shaped beings. Martin Litchfield West comments that the horse heads may have been remnants of pagan religious practices in the area.
You don't say.
Yeah. Norse Fenrir and Freyja were the twin son and daughter of the sea god Njord. Both were deities of fertility. Slavic Lada and Ledo, female and male personifications of beauty and fertility, who were seen as twins and as mother and son. And Welsh Liu, Law Giffis, and Dylan Ale Don, twin brothers who are born when Arianrod is tested for virginity. Dylan takes on the nature of a sea creature when he comes into contact with water, while Liu is related to the pan-Celtic plural god hero Lugus. In the related Irish story, The Birth of Luga Lamfada, one version indicates that Lug was a surviving triplet whose twin brothers were drowned. Some interpreters of the legend view Dylan as representing darkness and Liu connected to the light. The solar connection is essential and often repeated. Many religions and myth cycles have an image of the sun being pulled across the sky by a chariot drawn by two horses. Often the horses are twins for exact opposites from each other. For example, the chariot card from tarot depicts this image nicely. Interestingly, the chariot card connects to Cancer, the sign directly after Gemini. In particular, the twins have some specific roles they play in nearly every myth around the world.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Protectors at sea, battle protectors, protecting oaths and contracts, magical healers, fertility, assisting at birth, dances and dancing, and founding cities.
Okay, then we're going to stop there. There's a bunch more, but I also am trying to get better at not just throwing so much people get like brain numb.
Right.
I think it's enough to get the point.
Yeah.
Or I should ask you, since I already know this stuff, but since it's being presented to you for not exactly the first time, because some of this stuff we've talked about over and over again.
Right. Yeah. Some of it is.
What is your impression? Like when I talked about duality and religion before, you thought not a big deal, probably, and now you think, holy shit, what religion doesn't have it?
I thought before, I guess I could say that I kind of just thought it was kind of cool. Like you see a lot of these divine twins. It's kind of like any other motif we see it
Right.
repeating itself through other religions or through various religions. But yeah, like the depth of it is new to me. Like I didn't realize that it was just like there's so many different dualities at play here, and it's not just the divine twins. It's like all these different yin and yang, give and take, life and death kind of stuff. So
yes, yay! I achieved what I wanted to.
good.
You now understand.
Yeah, I think so.
And hopefully people understand. And if any of this was confusing and too fast and too much, go watch the video from the first one where it's about comparative religion ideas and then all the way through, and you will not feel confused.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So
we've covered so many things like over the last while. So
don't you feel way more informed on religion? And we're not even done yet.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
You're like, what else can there be? Did you realize there was this much to begin with?
Not really. No, I didn't. Admittedly, I only gave it I didn't give it quite this level of thought for sure. But I didn't realize there was even this much to go into. So,
right. Yep. And there's actually more that we could keep going into. But like I said, as you already know, my videos, unlike some people's, I'm not trying to teach you about Persephone or certain Roman or certain. I want you to get the main concept that everything is relating to.
Yeah.
And then also going back to the same thing. It's a cultural product.
Right.
And it moved in cultural migrations. Yeah. There's no magic. There's no universal, consciousness. It's not because people are crazy that they made similar myths.
Yeah.
and there's no reason to me to be agnostic about
it.
Yeah. In fact, I feel it's unreasonable if you watch all these videos and you still are feeling that agnostic is the way to go. I don't think you watched and listened correctly.
Yeah, there's something else going on, I think.
But I mean, I still respect everyone's, right to their own beliefs as an anarchist. So I mean, I don't. That's one thing. Even though I personally have very strong opinions, I don't attack people because, once again, going back to the ethic thing, I don't think that's the way my humanity should be.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
If we're gonna like attack people for their beliefs that we think are incorrect, then that gives other people the right to attack us for our beliefs that they think are incorrect. And I don't think that's right.
Well, yeah,
we should be on the same page in
well,
that.
And I think that we are made great by our many acts of kindness, not our many acts of being vicious,
right,
or putting people down, calling them names, or trying to force people. As an anarchist, I feel like our thing is to present the education, which I feel like I've done and tried to do.
Yeah.
And then it's up to people. And if they don't, that's not my fucking problem.
Yeah.
As long as you're good people, because to me, in the end of the day, it's like someone said to me, because I was explaining all this stuff, like say Marxist-Leninists and socialists and anarchists and all this. And you're like, oh, I don't know what I am. I said, you know what? Don't worry, just be you.
Yeah, that's
all these are an abstraction. They're just a label trying to help others understand what we're thinking.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't personalize it like you have to be some fixed thing, or it's like you're choosing your gender. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, you're not like messed up if you're not identifying with a certain philosophy, I guess.
Yeah. Because I feel like I said, to me, it's about what our goals are. My goal is I want a better world and a kinder world. Yeah. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And to me, that can't happen in authoritarian states. It can't happen in fascism. It can't happen in homophobia. It can't happen in sexism. It can't happen in racism.
Yeah.
So to me, you get what I'm saying? So those are all, I'm anti that. But really, if you go back to my core thing, I want a kinder world. None of that shit can even be there to me.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say is, so if you don't know what you are, who cares? Just be you. But my thing is, don't forget what the goal is. The goal is the more important thing. The reason that's at least for me, like I said before, how I came to my anarchism was not a political thing, but a humanistic, axiological thing. I realized what is of value. And I realized being a good person is of value.
Yeah.
And then what comes from that is I'm anti-sexism, anti-homophobia, anti-fascism, anti-hierarchy, because wouldn't that be what a good person would do?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
I feel like once you grasp, that's why I say my good game is simple, because, okay, fine. You don't care about all this. You want to call yourself that. Are you a good person? And I always think, how would we know?
Right.
And if not, through your expressed thinking and your behaviors. So it's that matters. Our behaviors. That's why I said about kindness. It is our behaviors.
Yeah.
And not being sexist, homophobic, racist. Not these toxic ideas that literally do not embody a good person.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And also, everybody, you should show Corey support and go ahead and tell us and then about what you're doing and where to find you, and then we'll end the show.
Sure. Yeah. You can find me on YouTube or any podcast app. My show is called The Skeptical Leftist. I do interviews. I cover news and current events, and occasionally I try and do other things like read books and talk about them. But generally, I do interviews and talk about news and current events with people from a what I label as an anarchist communist perspective. But you don't have to be an anarchist or a communist to come and watch. Like my buddy Nick, who's been on the show with me for the last few weeks, doesn't really call himself an anarchist, but he's a person who believes in human flourishing, equality, and world peace, and that's kind of his take on things. And I don't have any disagreements with that. So.
Right on.
So yeah, like I say, YouTube or podcast apps, or you can check out my link tree. It's linktree /skeptical leftist. So
right on. Well, I enjoy talking to you about all this, and we'll do another video and explain more complex things about religion.
For sure.
Right on. Take care.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate,
activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudohistory, pseudomorality, things that are found in religion.